Hello and welcome to Read Play Game, the podcast where we look at tabletop role-playing games from every side of the table. I am Jess, and I played Scour.
I'm Emma, and I played Matt.
I'm Anish, and I played Cog.
I'm Tori, and I played Gatos.
Margot, and I played Tofu.
Yay, Goblin!
Yippee!
I love my Goblin family.
It's, without a doubt, they always hit. Like, it's just, the goblin antics are really where I think that we live in a nice way.
We thrive.
They're sweet. They're nostalgic.
They're not that sweet, to be fair.
This was a return to form.
More scrappy.
This was a return to form. Goblin Errands was sweet and nice.
It went south real quick.
It does not matter how, like, wholesome you try to be in your rules. We're going to get into some shit.
We were adults in this one. We were, like, teens in Goblin Errands.
We got all up in the bear's business.
We had fun.
There was a bear?
Right, like
no,
everyone says.
The bears, because, you know, they're big, brawny men.
Oh, yeah, because they were gay.
I see.
There was a lot of gay in
and
this
I'm right
one.
there with
This one
you.
was gay.
Gay Fort. Fort Gay.
Fort gay.
Or gay.
That was
Fort
an
Gay.
incredible
Inspired
final
choice.
vignette.
Inspired.
Or wait, final vignette is Mother under the Fort Gay? That's so funny.
In terms of the canon of this, we're going to kind of release a full timeline. This is, I think, an alternate timeline where if they hadn't ever gotten to the dragon, they did go to space.
Of course.
Of course. If Scour hadn't gotten eaten.
Either way, Scour dies.
Yeah.
Scour wakes up. It was all a dream.
That honestly is probably more likely.
This is the dream that Scour had when the rock hit his brain.
It's like, oh, who the fuck were those people?
Again, like, we've played Goblin Errands, and now we have played Space Goblins, and the universality of goblin traits is very fun.
So
like, very
interesting.
easy to plug in, to translate. I love that.
The flavor, though, on Rude did lead to some choice comedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no matter what the charisma-based stat is, I do feel like Gatos is going to use it in a rude way anyway, so may as well just call it rude.
Love it.
I think it's very interesting comparing the ways that different people present goblins in their own, like, special way, because I was searching on Viditia's Twitter account for the word goblins, and he seems just as excited about goblins in a lot of ways as Martin was, because Martin loves goblins. Martin, the creator of Goblin Errands. But I just think it's really interesting to see, like, what similarities there are in the portrayal, what differences there are, or just in the theming and tone of the games.
Yeah.
You want to jump into mechanics and stuff? Because there was a lot happening. And I personally love gathering treasures.
I really like that. I did really understand, Jess talked about this in the read, but this being, like, almost board game-esque. It felt very like that. It was a lot lighter on roleplay, which I'm not mad about. I think it's more of a, like, quick blast through these rooms. And I thought the rotating GM aspect of it was really, really fun within that, because it gives everyone kind of a chance to take on that mantle. Quick props to Tori.
I was hoping somebody would
First time GMing on the podcast. You did a great job.
And
I
really
liked
solid,
it.
I think.
Yeah.
Like, that was really, really fun.
My
cool
takeaways,
choices.
Thank you. My takeaways are, after it had happened, I was admiring how y'all, like, sometimes it's like you have to do something socially on the spot, like with the art contest, or sometimes it's more of like a puzzle rather than just like, okay, you're in a room, how do you get out of the room? Like, I felt like maybe my three were all kind of like, you're in a room, how do you get out?
Tori, you had a physical, a social, like, okay, here's a tricky situation. Like, you had a very balanced encounter that you gave us.
I think so.
Yeah.
Really? Thank you.
I also thought Emma and Margot, y'all did spectacular jobs in your bits too. I liked the art show thing was inspired.
That was very
That was
fun.
one of the most
Really
fun
cool
moments.
Real blast from the past.
Yeah,
Well,
I was not expecting it to go that way.
A lot of
and I mean,
I
more in
was
the
like, oh yeah, they're gonna make some cool art. Nope.
We did.
In the premise of it, it's really fun. Like it's not like we're in mortal danger or anything.
Setup.
It's like you're gonna get critiqued.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, you're gonna lose your teeth by like just being sad.
Mm-hmm.
Was it you, Anish, who came up with the idea that the art is snapping a picture of
No,
their
it was
reaction?
you, right?
That was you.
No. Somebody else
I think
came
that
up
was
with that
me.
part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was
You
Gus.
so
Nice.
freaking
fucking
genius.
good.
Very fun.
My idea was just leave the canvas blank, and if they don't get it,
They don't get it. And then
Oh,
the
yeah. That's what it
camera.
was.
I was just trying to get a way to get another treasure in there.
It was
But really good. And allowed for that really funny roleplay moment.
I kind of want to like go to a gallery and
And do that and try it.
Yeah.
Just wait by it. Wow, check this out.
Incredible.
It didn't feel disjointed to me. I will say. Like it didn't. Even like maybe it's just because GMing is GMing in a game that's this straightforward, is like they set up what you're going to do. But I was almost excited when we picked this game to be like, oh, wow, we'll really see the different flavors of GMing that we bring to the table. But I think it was so straightforward that it's like, it felt very fluid and like it meshed well.
I think the idea of hitting a number and that number going down, that's such an interesting one that I've not seen before. Mm-hmm. And like the threat persists like just at a lower number with a different situation.
Yeah, the mechanic of it really consolidates a lot of text that would otherwise be like tons of the rules that would essentially describe the same stuff. So I thought that was smart.
I think that's a very it feels metagamey in a way that is board gamey. Like that I think is where the board game comes from.
Yeah, I think feels very board gamey.
Where it's like I mean it feels almost like I've played some of those like official Dungeons and Dragons ones where like you're going through a generated dungeon or whatever and you just have the cards that lay out what the little monsters and stuff do. And like that felt very much like, well, I know that this number, I know that it's still a threat because I know the number is still there.
I know we gotta get it down right now, so let's front load everything.
Yeah, but then the interesting part is like how that manifests in the room and like what the context of the situation, which is the referee's job.
Yeah, I feel like it led to some interesting, what's the word? Interesting role playing, but also is like like interesting storytelling because it's like, oh, you've like, depending on how much you wear the thing down, like it's like, oh, like you have to come up with like new ideas of how like the problem escalates, or like you solve the one thing, but like you didn't solve this other thing. It's the whole like that whole system that I just enjoyed.
I was gonna say the fact that it's like a threshold and then you subtract, something about it for me circumvents that kind of metagamey. You were talking about combat, I think, in D&D, and there's that like cheeky question where it's like, well, does it look bloodied? Trying to be like, well, are we halfway through? And this one is just kind of more out in the open, and like allows for like different methods of trying to achieve the same goal. But I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
And that loop. Go ahead.
I think that is helped by the fact that you can leave at any time.
Yeah.
Like what your health is. We can choose to dip. And that made it even more so like board gamey in a positive way of like I love metagaming.
I love metagaming. Something that I thought was interesting that I think we did like really well once was in a game where you are just playing to certain strengths, what happens a lot of the time is that you're going to get like extreme personalities and very similar solutions, which is fun, especially if you lean into it. But if that ever gets stale, what can be really interesting is if the referee throws a problem at a player that demands either a specific skill you're not good at, or like a challenge in a way that like really asks you to look at something different. And I think the moment I thought we kind of unintentionally did it, maybe, or it was intentional and it was smart. Our ship was so built for scooting away and stuff and quick maneuvering that when we disabled the steering wheel, I thought it was like a really refreshing moment to be like, oh, now the options are limited. And I think I was reading back the tips for referee, and I think the thing I would tell the people who are gonna referee and play this game, really look at the paragraph that says, "Don't be afraid to lean towards getting the goblins to roll with a specific stat, but also reward players for creatively working to their strengths." And I think the balance of that can, if you're intentional about it, can keep things pretty fresh.
With that in mind, so my favorite role of the game was Tofu hitting those targets.
Yeah.
The build up for that was so funny, and just nailing it was so funny. I really, really enjoyed seeing that come to fruition.
Yeah, that was super fun. That was the one I thought you were going to say when you were talking about like doing.
Yeah, that one too is perfect. Yeah.
I similarly liked you just slamming the security stuff, just like breaking the display. I thought that was really good with how much you really min-maxed Tofu there.
Oh yeah, like at the end it was oof.
Yeah, but using Tinker on the gun was really fun. It was Tinker, right?
It was Tinker, yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say really quick.
Another one.
I don't know if it's intentional, but a really funny thing that ended up happening multiple times is we'd lower the difficulty to around 1 or 2 or 3, such that success was guaranteed, which gave us like complete freedom to be like, let's just go fucking crazy. I think, unintentional or not, it's really fun as like a powerful situation that the players can just have fun narrating however the heck they figure it out.
I think
Great.
That was kind of where I struggled a little bit, where like I think that I think we also we had this thought a couple times as we were playing that maybe 5 players isn't really the best amount for this game. I think it would probably be for more like 3 or 4, maybe. I mean,
4
could go as low as 2.
It does say it's a game for 2 to 5 players.
It does, but
it's designed, yeah.
But like I don't know that. Like, I'm not saying that we did anything wrong. I'm just saying that I think that it's longer, and also I feel like we got our skills so high so quickly to a point where it was so trivial.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end it was impossible not to lose.
I wonder if because you can play this as a longer form game, like you can play multiple sessions with multiple runs, and I wonder if that, like, if you have more people, it's better to have a longer form for that. So
probably.
I think it could even be fun if you do this as a campaign and you have a group of 5. This feels like a super reasonable game to have as a regular game night. You know, we're going to play Space Goblins every Tuesday, and if you can come, you can come, and if you can't, you can't, because it's real easy to plug in and out.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I wonder with that is like there comes a point where your skills and maybe, you know, at that point you kind of have to force people to use different skills or something, but it's like your skills get to the point where it's like kind of impossible to fail. And then, you know, like we were also like plugging in every single treasure and had like so many treasures. So it was like, you know, we were rolling.
And I used the trumpet.
I think
we
could have been a lot harsher on like, no, you don't.
Probably.
No, you don't use the trumpet. But we wanted to, we were like, ah!
And I wonder too, like that's the only thing, because it's like it has to be 8, 10, and 12, and it can't be like anything north or south.
Yeah.
Of that. Like I wonder if like for a longer thing, like there'd be a way to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think that also factors into the difficulty with 5 players, specifically when all 5 players have treasures, and specifically you can share treasures freely between the goblins. That itself, while extremely fun, it's going to lead to some creep that if you're like really concerned about playing something for a long term, maybe that's a concern, but like for a one shot, like I feel like you can kind of go balls to the walls.
Yeah. I also think, and this is a situation where, like, I would feel comfortable as a group deciding on home rules for that of like, okay, we want to like, we're getting higher level. Let's say that like, maybe we're doing, you know, different rooms at the same time, or maybe like no, you can't. Like some of you are attuned to your item and you can't share that item specifically, or like you have to really justify, are you right next to them? Can you be using this right now? Like getting a lot stricter on that. Because we even had me like pass off my items while I was on the ship, and that felt a little like we were being more relaxed towards the goblins than we
with the law
needed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that I did like and take away from our interview with Caroline Hobbs, creator of Fedora Noir, was she was talking about the way she designed that game. She was emphasizing more create dramatic scenes rather than try to make sure that you get the mystery perfect with all the clues. And so I kind of had that still in my brain playing this one, where it's like, yes, it felt very difficult to fail. And what's kind of funny, I think the closest we ever were to like really endangering ourselves was gambling for treasure in our downtime. Like that's probably the most danger we ever were in.
And that was fun.
That was fun.
And so I think I like it for what it is, which to me is like a really fun, fast-paced game. But I think if it was like a weekly thing, I would almost make everybody start at the bottom.
Yeah.
It would
not
be
leveling up.
I could see it be because they do recommend for a longer campaign you can do like you land on one Junktopia and then you're trying to get to another planet. So I think it would have been pretty cool if the things that we're trying to grab from the ship are our treasures and we're not able to use them until we grab them. That might be something that I would add in a home game.
I think balances it pretty well. I like that idea.
Can we talk about that a little? Because I was kind of confused what the big final act is.
Me too.
What does it mean to land on Junktopia? Yeah, what's the...
I've several thoughts on it.
I had perceived of the rules differently than you had, I think. And I want to reread it just to see where the confusion was for me. Yeah. In my brain, it was like, oh shit, we're bouncing on Junktopia. We've landed and the ship is breaking apart and it's going to explode. And so we're trying to grab all the stuff, but we had landed, which I don't think is like correct. It's the arrival at Junktopia, but I think it is kind of, it's a little less clear cut what exactly is going on with that ending. So I was glad that that like Anishu took the mantle in that moment and we're like, no, we're still in the air. And I was like, okay, cool. And we're still in the air.
Either way, you got to frame it somehow because the only reason I really framed it that way was because the first sentence or one of the recommendations was the turbulence entering the atmosphere, collections going haywire, or like if you land in Junktopia's core, bringing junk to life, like there's a wide variety of things.
Crazy if the skeleton started attacking us.
Wild.
Mama got her groove back.
If I had gotten it, that's what I would have done. Something like that.
That's crazy. I loved the puzzle aspect, though. Of just like, here's something different.
Okay, thoughts on the final ride to Junktopia. Regardless of how it happens, whether you're descending in the atmosphere or you're jumping across the landscape and like you're waiting for the final crash. What I love about that setup is that throughout the game, you're creating all these cool rooms that are either inspired or just because you like them. Since you build that sort of well-meaning connection, the threat of losing it is like, oh no, I want to hold on to all these things. And on top of that, you have to gauge, depending on whatever your junk level is at the very end, you kind of have to gauge whether you can get to every room or you can, let it go. But what the game does is it doesn't let any of those rooms go to waste. And instead, you build a monument at the end, which I think was honestly even more fun to see what the heck was left behind. It's a lot. It can lead to comedy, but I don't know. It could also be pretty sweet in a sense too.
With the Final Crash, going back to the similarities between this and board games, what you were talking about with like, and then you get to go through this kind of these like memories that you've built. I was perceiving it almost more like betrayal on what is it? Betrayal at the house.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
Yeah, where it's like you are creating your own demise. Where it's like, okay, you're filling it with all this cool stuff, and all of this cool stuff is going to become problems later. So I was seeing it in a very negative, but like juicy negative context of like, okay, what's going to happen in this room that we've like filled with all this cool stuff that now is going to kill us or is going to explode.
The dreaded wait.
Hole.
I really wanted to see what would happen if we ended up in the man cave.
God, I
The
watched
beers come
it.
alive and they say, drink me. Sorry, that was Josh.
Yeah.
Overtook my body there for a second.
Drink me harder.
We can either include this or not, but I was just curious, Jess, what was it like for you playing Scour? Like, this is a dynamic that we've had for years. Like, what was it like trying to be in the mix?
I mean, I thought it wasn't. It was, again, like I said, kind of during the session at one point, I really just love the dynamic that the four of you have when it's the four of you. But Scour was, almost in a sense. I mean, there's a term that's commonly used, DMPC. It wasn't quite that, because that's not really what Scour was. But it did like Scour accompanied the party for so long that like. That's what I would say is like the biggest NPC that y'all dealt with. Like I can't really think of an NPC throughout that campaign that was around y'all more.
Everybody else was tied to locations, I feel like.
But like, I think it would have been fun to bring in a character because I think a nice thing that the characters all represent in you are like in the four of you are like, I don't know, it was your basest like inclinations when you first were creating characters to like do stuff like this. And I feel like there are all these fun little exaggerations of who we are in kind of silly ways. And I don't think Scour is that for me. I think Scour is just a guy. So like, I am wondering what my goblin Sona would be in the context of the goblin family,
Warlock.
But a warlock. Yeah, my goblin.
I feel like it would be like the long lost sibling who has a scar.
Yeah, it would be something edgy
Cooler
and
than
something
Gatos.
like yeah,
Cooler
yeah.
than Gatos.
Oh, that would be
with
really
a
good.
More British accent. You're actually from Goblin Britain.
I was going to say
call
mom
me.
that actually survived somehow.
Whoa.
I think I would have done that if it wasn't so perfect a setting to
Yeah.
put Scour in.
Space,
because
yeah.
of space.
Scour
we-
originally from the moon in our campaign, right?
Not from the
Oh,
moon. He
went
just
to the
went
moon.
to the moon.
Cool.
I
Could
said that
be-
as bullshit. I don't know why.
I was gonna say it could be like it doesn't have to be like the resurrected mom. It could be like long lost like other parental figure, like father,
Other
or
mom.
aunt.
Ugh.
Can we
Tofu's
say that with
Tofu's mom.
My birth mom.
I mean,
Or-
I kind of
or
feel like it should be a
another sibling of
sibling.
Tofu's,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
feel like
Or
it
a
should be
sibling,
on the
yeah.
same level instead. Well, it would be interesting to have a parental figure, I guess, but or like an older brother type
And she comes
figure.
in with a big glass of wine.
that, I was about to say, for the mom's bones, can we put like a wine station?
That's so. Well, imagine
gay.
imagine their long lost older brother comes in and just like kicks open the door, puts his feet on the couch, and says, "All right, we're playing Halo." Like,
Hell yeah.
can I read through a little bit of this this Twitter thread?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So VidTF posted on Twitter on his back in 2019, like right after the release of this game, he wrote just this thread kind of about like the reception to it, and he wrote, "I kind of want to talk about something I really like about what I did on Space Goblins, and that people keep commenting on, and also to throw out some ideas / philosophy I want in terms of how I'm moving forward as a designer, and if anyone has thoughts." So I'm really happy people are liking the alternating GM list to GM structure of Space Goblins. Most comments seem to focus on that. It's something I'm very proud of, but mostly because I like what it says about how the goblins act, and in turn, how I want the players to act. A big thing I wanted to emphasize in this game was that the goblins don't have strict hierarchy. There's no captain, no one in charge, all resources are shared. In that way, I wanted players to know that at no point is one person in charge, but it's also not fully GM-less. In a way, the person who becomes the ref during the crash is selected because they're scolded for not doing their chores, so it's more about having fun than being in control of the narrative. I hope that comes through, especially since the others still PROC a role the ref makes in Kara.
In character?
Still proc a role the
Proctor?
ref makes in Kara. I think this is just to meet the tweet limit. Anyway, I find myself the most comfortable when the story/mechanics are spread between players, but I also find myself loving playing the part of the world. I'd love to explore games where someone still focuses on the broader narrative while still being a player. GM-less? ? I like the idea of rotating GM is such a fun concept to me, which I know is kind of commonly done in some long-term groups anyway. Like you do a little bit of a campaign and then like you just switch DMs. I guess kind of what we do, but like in different settings.
I think that is present more. Like I'm noticing that in a lot of games that come out more recently. Like Caroline was talking about, of like enjoying having different people have different responsibilities, but everyone's working together narrating. Like that's not rotating GM, but it is like what he was talking about with wanting to be both a player and the world is like a lot of games now have like the world as a player, like you can create games like that. And I think that's really neat.
It reminds me of there's a 2-player TTRPG talking about like switching who is GMing called Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard, where it's 2 people, one plays Jekyll, one plays Hyde, and they like switch off who's in control like of the narrative, which I think is a very fun way to, it's like you're role playing the role of like the Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde character, and like also that like leading into, being in kind of the GMing seat, which I think is pretty fun alternative way to do it that also influences the story.
That's a 2-person game or just two DMs?
2-person game.
GMs,
yeah.
Excuse me. That's hip. That sounds very cool.
Derail us. Take us there.
I've completely forgot what I was going to say, but I found it again. How does he say how this is related to / inspired by Troika? Is it just the creating a threshold thing?
I see it for sure. With the necessity to stack on items to succeed. I see that very much of like, it's going to be hard at first, but if you use your resources, it's going to come together. I see it with the reference to tables a lot of like, okay, we're going to use these randomized tables, which takes the onus off of the referee. You just get to default to what the table is and then take it from there. It allows for that real no prep aspect. Those were the threads that I drew. Yeah. Wait, what did you say?
I see it in our schools where they teach Mortys we're all the same because they're threatened by what makes us unique.
Yeah.
I see.
So we really just love Rick and Morty on this podcast is our thing.
Do.
Where's a Rick and Morty podcast? I'm sure, not a podcast. An RPG. I'm sure it exists.
Definitely does.
Also, just a note, we don't have to include this. Edited by Tyler Crumrine.
I was about to say that. I forgot to mention it.
We love you, Tyler Crumrine.
There is a Dungeons and Dragons official Rick and Morty.
Yeah, they did like a starter module.
Yeah. For more reference, the games that were touchstones, I'm trying to see if there was the Tunnel Goons, and then Troika is the only one that we've played, but the media that were touchstones were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Teenage Needle
Star
Teetles,
Wars, Pathfinder Goblins, and then Muppets Animal specifically.
I am so surprised. I think this might have been made before Lethal Company, but
Really?
There's just so many similarities.
It's exactly like Lethal Company.
Maybe Lethal Company is inspired by it.
I bet.
I don't know what Lethal Company
2023 was Lethal Company. That's crazy.
What is Lethal Company?
It's a horror game.
Cool.
So they're very different in tone.
I mean, I don't know if one would have been inspired by the other.
Maybe there's some sort of unique genre that I'm not sort of privy to.
You're like a bunch of like people that work for the company, and you like go to planets and you walk around in little warehouses and stuff, and you pick up scrap and you bring it back to your ship and try to escape, but like there's alien creatures that might kill you.
Feels like I wonder how many dungeon crawls are built similarly.
Yeah, well, a notable thing is that also like between the things you can like buy stuff with the scrap.
That is cool.
Like flashlights.
Yeah. And then, you have to have enough scrap to be able to pay off your debt.
Yes, it's more like, wow, it's the endless cycle of having to
capitalism
work for this company and stuff.
And
like
you
that.
can kill your teammates and give them to the great Cthulhu god to pay off your debt.
This game could have used that.
I will. Something really neat that I like about this, that I just scrolled to. Space Goblins is easy to pair with other RPG modules and supplements, and the game works especially well with those that would be classified as a dungeon, point, or hex crawl. Like, I'm just thinking about the world where that Weave wasn't our first game, and we had been more familiar with other, like, the indie TTRPG, had played a ton of games at that point. Like, how hype it would be in a session of Weave to be like, and now we're doing this, and like plugging in another game. Like, that's so fun. Of like, this is the encounter that we're doing, is we're playing a different type of game.
That's so sick. We've brought it up a couple times. Troika is a game we've played before, and for people who haven't watched it, something we did in that specific one, kind of mild spoilers.
Nobody's
kind of
watched
big
it though.
Spoilers, actually. Now I think about it, there's references to previous campaigns we've done, and the goblins happen to be referenced in that campaign. And they met again. Spoilers. Skip the next like 20-30 seconds. But the goblins were privy to that campaign, and they met an untimely fate. And I don't know if y'all noticed, I made a convenient excuse as to why those goblins may have been splatted. Maybe they were the clones.
Thank you.
And
Thank
just
you
like that, we can
Because we
live in
didn't-
peace.
So you did that shit on purpose just to do that?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I was wondering where you got such a specific idea for an item.
Like,
Because
wow, that
I guess
item is
after the
pretty good.
explosion, we saw us
Yep.
siblings walk away, but we didn't
No.
see the grow your own.
Your next
Okay.
character,
Space.
first name Rhett, last name Khan.
Yeah.
Well, here's mine. The trumpet that influences people's feelings went rocketing out, and then through the atmosphere it melts down, and the particles land in a far off planet where the sea takes them and churns them into the shape of a shell.
Whoa.
Drip.
That's beautiful.
Icicate.
Let's play Masks again.
Our fans would like us to play Masks again, I bet.
Really?
On the Patreon, I bet.
Paywall it.
All right, guys. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I would just say, and I don't know if we want to cut around this. I feel like I speak frankly, and then I hear the episodes back, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm such an asshole. I can be kind of hard on the way that they write, the way that some designers will write rule books if I feel like it's a little too like cheeky or like trying to, but I liked how this one was done. I feel like it got the information across. It was, I don't know. The end of this thought is I initially read the what color are your goblins pronouns and felt a little like, like I hate having a gay drug dealer. Why did you put a sticker of Steven Universe on ketamine? But then hearing people's colors that they came up with did end up being kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, just cut around that. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Nobody else put their pronouns in their name.
I don't have the H key. It just
Do you need the H key for
Don't have
pink?
the H.
Oh.
Anish. I forgot about this aspect of you. How do you type emails?
I don't.
You got to just copy and paste the H
Yep.
Yeah.
key. Listeners, please subscribe to our Patreon so that we can get a niche, a functioning
HG.
laptop.
Please.
Because until then, he is just a niece.
And holeless.
That one. With that good joke. Let's roll for.
Thank you so much for. We usually do that. So, we're going to roll for the game that we're going to play.
I can't believe we rolled. Wow. Love that game.
Yes. I've been wanting to play this game for so fucking long.
That game's going to be sick.
I'm so excited to get it on the roster. Thank you to everyone who's been recommending it. We so appreciate it. Please email us, join our Discord, keep sending us your recommendations. We love playing them.
You can find a link to our Discord and to all our socials at Linktree /readplaygame. That is linktr.ee/readplaygame. And you can find tons of fun stuff. And you can notably subscribe to our Patreon, as we mentioned, and you get some bonus stuff, bonus episodes and newsletters, etc. And rate us on your podcasting app. And please share that with all of your friends who like tabletop role-playing games and want to discover new stuff, or you think we're funny, because I think we're pretty funny. You've seen our promo clips. What are you talking about?
We go in really hard at the top of the play session, and then we kind of backed up.
We lose our energy sometimes, guys.
That's not what I meant. I meant we are much raunchier at the beginning than through the rest of it.
Oh, yeah. The beginning was crazy.
Yeah.
But besides that, we will see you at a different table.
Totally different table.
Yeah.
Bye.
Beginning of that episode, we were slapping fannies and killing grannies.
We didn't kill anyone.
Not yet.
Kill us. End it. Give us 1 star, listeners.
Give us 1 star.
Review Obama.